Gentlemen of the jury, you will hear your question read in open court. We have consulted with each other, considered each other's view, and deliberated with the objective of reaching an agreement as a group. After all discussions and considering the case with each other, we cannot come to a unanimous verdict on count 1 or count 2. Please advise. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a new and difficult assignment for you. The process of discussion and deliberation in the jury room is necessarily slow and requires consideration and patience. The secrecy which surrounds your efforts prevents others, including the court, from knowing when your efforts will result in a verdict. In a large proportion of cases, absolute certainty cannot be attained or expected. Although the verdict must reflect the verdict of each individual juror and not mere acquiescence in the conclusion of other jurors, each question submitted to you should be examined with proper regard and deference to the opinions of others. It is desirable that this case be decided. You are selected in the same manner and from the same source as any future jury would be. There is no reason to believe the case will ever be submitted to a jury more capable, impartial, or intelligent than this one. Likewise, there is no reason to believe that more or clearer evidence will be produced by either side. It is your duty to decide the case if you can conscientiously do so. You should listen to one another's opinions with a disposition to be persuaded. Do not hesitate to re-examine your views and change your position if you are convinced it is erroneous. If there is disagreement, all jurors should re-examine their positions, given that a unanimous verdict has not been reached. Jurors for acquittal should consider whether their doubt is reasonable, considering that it is not shared by others equally honest, who have heard the same evidence with the same desire to arrive at the truth and under the same oath. Likewise, jurors for conviction should ask themselves whether they might not reasonably doubt the correctness of a judgment not concurred in by all other jurors. I'm going to ask you to return to the jury room at this time and deliberate further. Ladies and gentlemen, anything else on behalf of the state?
No.
Anything on behalf of the defense?
Judge, I would like to put something on the record after we finish the call.
Very good, thank you. All rise for the jury.
Well, we just heard it from the judge there. The jurors said they could not reach a unanimous decision on count 1 or count 2. And she was very clear. She said, then return to the jury room and continue deliberations. And she said, it is reasonable to say that no new evidence will come up, so you are a very qualified jury. We want to go to Deb Dixon now with some reaction on this. Stunning, Deb.
Well, I'm just going to say I'm not surprised. After the jury asked for the testimony of the 2 use of force witnesses who were so different in their conclusions, everything. Was he dragged? No. Was he? The other one said yes. Was it justified? One said yes. One said no. So to me, it felt like there was conflict in that jury room, or they wouldn't.
Very good. Anything from the state on that? Very good. We had discussions in chambers. I apologize for not letting you object prior to me reading it. The intention of the court was to read this charge. I stand by that decision. It is the appropriate charge in matters like this to instruct the jury to further deliberate, and I note your objection. Thank you, Mr. Matthews. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
Here. I'll follow him when he comes out.
We are, I have a story that we will air later on Channel 12 with the defense, the experts going back and forth, and here comes Ray. Any reaction, Ray? They have never. Stu, what do you think? Oh, yeah, we got a gag order. I keep forgetting about that. But we will, this is not unusual for a judge to say, go back and keep trying. I've been in trials where judges have said that more than once. You owe it to the public to try harder. Go back and try again. Bobby, reaction, please. Bobby Tilton with National Action Network.
It's kind of what we figured.
Yeah, it is what we figured.
I just hope they work this thing and work it hard and come out with a verdict. I really hope they
What if it is hung? I mean, we've been calculating the reaction from the community on guilty of murder, guilty of manslaughter, and not guilty. But a hung jury, what does it mean to the community and to you?
If it's hung, the community needs to just stand by and let's listen to the prosecutor to see what will be the next steps.
Now, you felt that the prosecutor put on a powerful case.
Absolutely.
You have no complaints with the case.
I have no complaints with the case. I think the prosecutor did what they needed to do, brought in experts, brought in forensic video analysts that broke that video down frame by frame by frame. There's absolutely no doubt that Mr. Tenzing lied regarding being hung up in the steering wheel and being drugged. He lied, so his credibility is gone.
But we also discussed their request for the use of force, and we were both saying, are they as conflicted as those experts were?
Yeah,
That was a sign.
right. That was a sign. That was a sign. So, but they have to look at the evidence, break down the evidence, get the personal feelings out of it.
Mr. Pelton, I believe it was you, somebody said early on in this process, when protesters were out, that everybody needed to kind of hold their breath. This is what justice looks like. Do you still feel that way?
Absolutely. We have to yet give the process an opportunity to work. And even if it comes out a hung jury, we must stand by. There's no reason to get really upset because it's going into the hands of people that aren't accustomed to doing things like that. We have to wait on the next words from the prosecutor.
And Bobby, you also were saying that because of what we've been through, Cincinnati has to show the country how it's done. We are a model, according to the Justice Department and other police departments and other communities want to be like us.
Right.
And you're saying prove it?
We all want to remain that model. And justice today, with a verdict of guilty, will help us to remain that model.
What's your advice to the community? What do you want the people to know, what they should do, how they should act, how they should be right now?
I think everyone needs to just stand by. If you need to exhale, scream, holler, whatever. But just stand by, let the process, we have to give this opportunity, we have to give this process an opportunity to work.
If we were to come back not guilty, would you still say we're a model?
No, I would not. I would not. Because I think the prosecutors did too good of a job breaking down what happened.
Then what would it say to you?
That we have problems in our justice system. Not in our policing, but in our justice system.
Or in a divided community?
A very divided community. Very divided community. And that was definitely shown to us Tuesday night.
You're going to be standing by in the overflow room, I guess?
I'll be right here.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Bob.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, okay, you heard it. The jury says we can't decide. The judge says go back and try again. This could go on several times, and we'll be standing by here and let you know whenever anything changes here at the Hamilton County Courthouse. Deborah Dixon reporting live.
Yeah, and quickly here, you just said you were not surprised based on the fact that the jurors asked those questions yesterday and that this has been dragging on. But you probably would not have said that a couple of days ago. And what's interesting is this is a case with very little evidence. You said yesterday that without the body cam video, there probably would not even have been a case. So they have very little to look at, and the judge made it clear there's never going to be more evidence that comes up for a future jury. And I think that was a really interesting point. So do you think we only have a few seconds left.
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say there's very little evidence. I would say very, very seldom do we have video of somebody being shot and killed. How they look at that, what they take away from that. They've got the thing happening got it happening in seconds, and they have it broken down, and they have a cop who's spent his whole life trying to be a cop saying, I thought I was going to die. They've got a lot of things to think about.
They do.
And the video is huge. So we'll stay in touch with you, Paula.